Joshua, thank you for joining me. Thank you for um giving me heat for this interview, and I'm very grateful for that. And good morning from Ghana here, and also I hope everything is fine on your side in Cameroon.
Good morning, brother. Cameroon this morning is it's fine. It's fine.
Okay,
It's
okay,
fine. I hope
that's
too in
good.
Ghana.
Your squad have been announced. Cameroon, the final 26-man squad have been announced. With the squad announced, were there any surprises about the squad? Any shocking player inclusion or player exclusions about your squad?
Actually, coming into the world to select a World Cup squad like this, many people expected most players to come from the squad that played the Nations Cup, but we've seen about 10 players who were not part of the Nations Cup, which we hosted.
Okay.
And there have been shocking inclusions and shocking exemptions.
Okay, so
And the most
can you
shocking,
share with us some of the shocking inclusions and exclusions?
uh, while going in for the match against Jamaica, many had the likes of Che Malong, Wasu Patient,
Okay.
as domestic players to be included in the squad. But in
Okay.
the end, we saw the obvious man, Maro Shuaibu, who won the best player of the season, and then the shocking Jerome Gom.
Okay.
To many, it might be shocking because they don't actually know who Jerome Gom is. He's a player who had 14 assists and 4 goals last season with the Cologne Sportif de Jailobo. And
Okay.
in the start of the season, he already had 2 assists to his name in 3 games. And he's an academy graduate of the best academy in the country. That is called the Foot de Brazzaville. And against Jamaica, he was a threat from the flanks. His runs, his dribbles. I mean, he is that player you can look up to when you want to create chances, when you want to break the lines, when you want your strikers to be set up. Ngom is that man. And bringing him into the squad was shocking to the population because they didn't expect that name. You know, we always get to the popular players, but Ngom is that man who can be decisive. So it was a happy decision from the coach and shocking though. And we also have Christian Basogog, best player of AFCON 2017 when Cameroon won the cup in Gabon. Yeah, he was also included after so many thought he was one of those players who will be left out, and he's been left out for the past friendly games which we had. So bringing him back was also a shocker for many people. And defender Nicolas Kulu, it was quite shocking because we had to see Ngande dropped and Kulu brought in, but that was no longer shocking to people with sporting minds because bringing him for the friendlies against South Korea and Uzbekistan already had a message to the fans and football lovers of Cameroon that he was actually going to return. Because after 5 years of him being off the national selection and bringing him back for the friendlies already indicated the coach needed his services when the Lions go out in Qatar.
All right, okay. So with the exclusion of Michael Ngadiu, if I get the name right,
that's it.
To you, was it fair? Was it based on merit? Do you think it was right for him to be excluded, or do you think he should have been included?
As a football analyst, Michael Nganju is one of those players who has played most in the selection since 2017. He's had most game minutes. Even with his team Ghent in Belgium, he plays very well and he is consistent. And our qualification in Bleeder, he's the one who assisted Karl Toko Ekambi. So many people were not even doubting him. But at some point in time, back when they were not selected for the friendlies, he, Choupo-Moting, and Anguissa, the coach came up in a presser and said, there are some players whom we already know their value, whom we already know their game. So we need to give time for the others who have not had the chance to prove themselves. So we already knew Ganda was going to come in. Maybe there's something behind his not being called up, but at the moment, I am one of those people who always believe in the coach's choices. because when the team doesn't perform, we hold the coach accountable. And when the team perform, he gets the credit. And at this point, we have to respect his decisions in order to also respect his results or hold him accountable for the results when they don't come the way we want them.
Okay. So you are going to hold the coach accountable for whatever results is going to come. I get it from you. Okay, so with the inclusion of two home-based players, how as in how does it feel for those players? Was it in a way that okay, people thought, okay, at least there should be a quota of home-based players added to the team, or were they selected because they were merited, as in they deserved with their performances and stuff, they deserved to be in? Do you get the question I'm trying to bring up?
Like, the reaction with respect to having local players caught up.
Exactly.
Yes. I, for one, I am the most excited person when it comes to having to see that local players are heading to Qatar. If I was in place of the coach, I could even think about 5 of them because we have very good players.
Five
like
players. Wow, interesting.
Yes. Because that is a booster to our local league, which the president of the FA, Samuel Eto'o, is trying to revive. Exactly. Because sometime past, the league has been in slumber, and since his election 9 months back, he's seen our league being revived. And having the best player, Marouche Waibu, who scored over 21 goals in all competitions for Cotton Sports of Ghana, or having to win the league double, having to win the league and the Cameroon Cup, already saw him merited. And there's also been rumors he might be heading to Orlando Pirates, South African Giants, maybe after the AFCON, after the World Cup or something or so. Calling Marouche Waibu and Jerome Gom shows that the Cameroon domestic league, the Cameroon Elite One Championship, is gaining the arc. It shows that there is value in Cameroon football.
Okay.
It shows that there is quality in Cameroon football. And I am very excited, and I will be very happy if these guys get the chance and the game time in Qatar. They are players who can step up in any occasion. Marouche Waibu, with the under-23 Lions in Islamic Games, scored the first goal against Turkey in Konya. He scored against Equatorial Guinea during the qualifiers of the African Nations Championship. He can step up at any moment. He's a very good player. Jerome Gom, we saw him put up great performances against Jamaica, which means these players now have the chance to serve the indomitable Lions in Qatar. And at any point in time, the coach should not have any scare of bringing them in. Even though we have players that come from big clubs like the likes of Choupo-Moting, Brian Bemo from the Premier League, but these players, having them called up, has actually seen fans at home very happy and excited that actually our league can produce players that will stand up against the likes of Switzerland, Serbia, and Brazil. And why not head to the next group stages and face any other team in the world?
Okay, so I know that definitely you'll be the most happiest person, because even when Ghana dropped our list, and we had 2 local players, that Danlad Ibrahim and Efue Banye inside, you were so happy. I saw how you were happy for them, and I know that maybe you are a big supporter of the local football. You want the football to improve, and credits to your FA president Samuel Eto'o. I think he's been doing incredibly well. As in, I can't take that away from him. He's been doing so since he was elected, and kudos to him. Okay, so since the squad was announced, the general populace, the citizens, how are they reacting to it? Are they happy, just as how you are happy, or just as how you have with your mindset about the team? Is it the same? Are they happy? Are they against it? How is the feeling for the citizens?
Actually, the Cameroonians are very happy, and there are also mixed feelings. You know, they cannot be 100% happiness at both ends. Like yesterday, that was Sunday in a league game pitting Union Sportive of Douala and Bamboutus de Buddha. We saw fans with placards indicating that Onve Michael Ganji are au Qatar. That means they want the coach to come Ngande to join the team, which means that is already something they are not happy about. And having the likes of Zambo and Gisa, who are in top form in Europe and the Italian Serie A, Brian Bemo, who's been excellent, who also made his 150th appearance with Brentford. We have Choupo-Moting, who has scored 11 goals in his last 8 games with Bayern Munich.
He's been on fine form.
He's been in form. Yeah. So these players has had the fans very excited. They want to see them bring their form and flair to the national team in Qatar. So there's a lot of excitement. And Andre Onana, when the Italian Serie A started and he wasn't having that game time with the Inter Milan, we were very worried. But since he came onto the stage, we saw him pull off heroics against Bayern Munich, against Barcelona, against Pleasant, and we expect to see that in Qatar. So we have players, very good players, Faye Collins, the likes of Tulun, who held down Mohamed Salah during the AFCON. We want to see that in Qatar. So there's a lot of excitement around the club. And even Nicolas Kulu, whose inclusion brought many controversies. His last game with Aris in Greece, we saw him score, and there was a lot of excitement that these players are actually ready for the World Cup.
Okay, so with the whole positivity around the Cameroon team, I want you to put emotions aside. Yeah, definitely everyone will be emotionally attached to his or her country. So
that's true.
Let's face fact. Yes, exactly. So how do you see Cameroon in this competition? Their performance, their expectations for your country in this competition. Will they go past the group stages, round 16, quarterfinal, semi-final? Their expectations for Cameroon.
It's very tough. When I saw the draws, I had mixed feelings. Having that, we are in a group with Switzerland that is always good in the national selection, with the likes of Shaqiri, Granit Xhaka, and many other players in the Swiss selection. They have a very good national team and always stand up against tough European teams in the Euros and even in world competitions, and we see them put up great performances. And then coming to Serbia. Serbia is one of the most informed teams in Europe, with a very deadly attack with the likes of Vlahovic, Jovic, Milankovic Savic in the midfield. We have Alexander Mitrovic, who has been very, very clinical in front of goal in the Premier League. So it's going to be very, very technical for Cameroon. And mentioning Brazil again, one of the best teams which going into this World Cup, we think are favorites. But our qualification against Algeria in Blida gives me hope. Not about sentiments or emotions as a Cameroonian, but for the fact that if we, as we did, pull through that great heroic in Blida, qualifying against one of the best and finest African teams, Algeria, after losing in Cameroon, and then heading to Algeria with hope. And almost 17 seconds down, Karl Toko Ekambi pulls off that great winner. That throw from Faye Collins to Kunde Malong to Faye Collins, who sets up Ganden Ganju, who connects to Karl Toko, and he sends it that goal. And you see the Algerians, their hopes die down within seconds. Cameroon with that spirit, and with Coach Rigobert Song, whom are one of the players who during his playing days were highly spirited as captain. We saw him instill that his spirit of high team spirit in his selection, in his team now. With that spirit in Qatar, I think Cameroon can pull out of this group. Cameroon can qualify out of this group.
Okay,
but it's going to be very tough.
So you are expecting Cameroon to just go out of this group, right? Any player in the Cameroon squad that the world should watch out for?
Watch out for Choupo-Moting.
Choupo-Moting. I think he's been on fine form, so definitely you are going to choose him, Choupo-Moting. Okay, so Choupo-Moting, you are expecting us to watch out for him. He can be a danger for any opposition at all. he can be a danger for any opposition at all. Okay, your general expectations of African countries going. We have Ghana, we have Cameroon, we have Senegal, we have Morocco, we have Tunisia. These 5 African countries. Your general expectation for them.
The African countries, through the build-up to the World Cup, we've seen them play excellent football. As a Cameroonian, I think we even have one of the teams with less players in the big leagues in Europe. Ghana has done a formidable list, and I think you Ghanaians should be very happy with the squad you have. The coach only has to do the man management well and put the right team to the field of play, and you will see great performances with Ghana. If the midfielders can feed up the attackers, either Jordan Ayew, Williams. We've seen Williams very, very efficient with the Bilbao in Spain, and I think he's always making those good runs. And if the midfielders can feed him up well, then Ghana can score the goals. And the captain, Andre Ayew, he's always a fighter, always willing and ready to win. Ghana is good. Senegal, that team, I think Senegal is that European team in Africa at the moment.
They are Senegal is the European team in Africa at the moment.
Yes, their players are very efficient and they play among most of them come from the top 5 leagues in Europe. It is quite sad. Sadio is not fit for the moment, but we think along the line he should be fit and get to help the team. Morocco is always a good team. They are always good and they can always stand the chances, having the likes of Hakimi who plays with PSG, a good goalkeeper in Bono. So I think it's a good team. Tunisia too, we can never count them out. They can always stand up at that moment and defend Africa. The North Africans in general, they always have surprises for Africa. But nonetheless, African countries, believe me not, at least 3 would go to the next round. At least 3.
Okay.
They are faced with tough groups. They are faced with tough groups, actually. But the quality is there. They just need the team spirit, good combos in the lineups, and with the spirit of Africans that we always have, and the will and zeal to make a difference from the impression that the Europeans, the South Americans are dominant to us. They can do better this time in Qatar.
Okay, all right. So thank you for the expectations of African countries. Last 4 years, France won it. This year, which country are you tipping to win?
France probably is that favorite. We know there's always some sort of mythical thoughts that the winners of the World Cup always do not perform well in the next competition. But at this moment, when we look at it analytically, France has an upper hand. With the addition of Benzema, Christopher Kunku, and many other young sensational players to the squad that won the last World Cup, we see that the gaps left by Pogba injury, Kante injury, can still have even President Kimpembe can still have France put up a great performance. I say this because most squads haven't had that enough time to prepare. The World Cup coming now in November, between November and December, is a change in schedule. Players coming in after active league time, they've not actually have enough times to prepare together as it was before. France is the only team that has had the players play for a long time and they actually play together and they know each other very well. And it is still the same generation. When you look at the past World Cup winners, you see that it's a generational thing. When Spain won the World Cup, it was a group of Iniesta, Xavi, Fernando Torres, David Villa. It was a transition from the under-17s, under-20s till the top selection. When Portugal won the Euros, it was Ronaldo, Pepe, Quaresma generation that pulled through up to this stage. France still has that generation that has blended with the new generation of Kylian Mbappe. They have blended with each other, and at this moment, it is a squad that has some of the finest players, if not the best in Europe. If you check the top 20 best players as per the Ballon d'Or, France squad has most of those players in them. And there will be a tough no. If they move through that group stage meet, we can see France again in the final.
We can see France again in the final. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you for your time, Joshua. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it very well.
Yeah, it's always great to talk football, and I also appreciate you for the opportunity and the work you are putting in to see that football is great in Ghana and the world and Africa, and we should keep doing what we are doing and making this beautiful game, which is a game of love that unites people, actually makes people happy, and we should keep going. We should keep going for it's great. Football is a special game.
All right. All right. So thank you very much.
And I wish Ghana the best in the World Cup.
I wish Cameroon the best also in the World Cup. Thank you very much.